block shots in the same season. Joining Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Walton, Hakeem Olajuwon in this exclusive club. Ben received nearly 97% of the votes from a panel of sports writers and broadcasters
Ben
throughout
Wallace,
the U.S.
joined
and
the ranks
Canada.
of Kareem, the Dream, and Bill Walton. We're ready to get underway with Detroit Pistons and the Toronto Raptors. Stay with us from the Palace in Auburn Hills. And sometimes you need the superstar as the go-to guy at the end of the ball game. Our circuit-sitted lineup. So here is Toronto without Vince Carter. Anthony Davis having the best year of his career. And Keon Clark at center. Underrated, 11 points and 7.5 rebounds. The Detroit Pistons with 50 wins this year. Michael Curry, defensive star, leadership on the floor. Jerry Stackhouse, of course, you know, and Cliff Robinson, who brings defense, 14.5 points, 5 rebounds. He's a three-point threat. And these Pistons starting lineup is very good, but they also are explosive off the bench with Corliss Williamson and John Barry. So the bench will be a factor in this game tonight. And gentlemen, Jeff Van Gundy and Hubie Brown, we are set to get underway with game one in this first round. And Hubie, Chucky Atkins probing, finds it open at the elbow with the miss, and it's Antonio Davis with the rebound. 7-6 Toronto. My, you can tell it's the playoffs. Alvin Williams with a pull-up jumper. Davis wanted the pass. Stackhouse stole it and missed the layup.
Cardinal rule on the break. Try not to lay it up over the front of the rim when you're extended. Lay the glass. Allow the ball to hit the glass and ricochet in.
11 on the shot clock as Toronto gets into their offense. Antonio Davis tried to pass it inside, deflected back out. Alvin Williams misses. Jerome Williams tried the rebound, comes back out to Davis. He missed from 15 feet. Keon Clark with the board.
The big test in this game will be, can Detroit hold one of the top offensive rebounding teams to a modest number? They cannot give up the easy second shot points.
Stackhouse off a baseline screen with the penetration. Kick out, nearly stolen. Chucky Atkins from the elbow. Everybody missing. Keon Clark with a big rebound. That's his third already. Chucky Atkins dishes back out to Cliff Robinson. Goes left hand inside Keon Clark, and he is fouled. And Keon Clark committed that foul. And Ben Wallace will go to the free throw line.
Right, this is one of, Ben Wallace has so many great attributes, and this is one of his weaknesses, which is his free throw shooting. 42% free throw shooter. He's got to make enough so that they can keep him on the floor in late game situations where it's close.
Wallace gets the free throw. He is only a 42% free throw shooter. Gets them both here, 8-7. Between 9 Pistons and Toronto missed 17 shots in a row before Olajuwon hit the one just before the end of the quarter.
Jeff, have you ever seen a 25-point quarter at the bottom?
No, I can't even think of one that even approaches that, even though we had some in New York that were like that. But
the people thought you were doing 4 corners.
Oh, boy. I tell you what, against Toronto last year, we probably should have gone to the 4 corners, especially in Game 5.
And after that, even though Toronto missed 17 shots in a row and scored only 9 points, they get the Antonio Davis basket here, and they're down only 5. The NBA playoffs continue tomorrow night with Game 2 of the Pacers of the Nets, followed by Game 2, Sonics at the Spurs. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern. 7 on the shot clock for the Pistons.
Now,
looking for Corliss Williamson.
The key for the Pistons have always been their bench, with Williamson, Rebraca, Barry, and Damon Jones out on the floor with Wallace. They're in the game right now. Let's see if they can get the big numbers like they did during the regular season.
Down only 5 despite their offensive woes, and we have a Detroit foul as Jerome Williams gets into the paint. And that foul is going to be on Jones.
I'll tell you what, Olajuwon made a basket at the end of the quarter. He's matched up against Rebraca. I think Toronto's got to try to exploit that matchup and go right into him. And if they're going to front like they are right now, go high-low. They've got to get Olajuwon involved.
Chris Childs misses. Ben Wallace with his 10th rebound. Remember, he averaged 13 to lead the NBA. Rebraca down on the post.
Great block.
Hakeem Olajuwon got the ball as Rebraca tried to put it up. Alvin Williams.
Yeah, you've got to go in there. You've got to exhaust this matchup right here.
Olajuwon from the same spot. The jumper he hit before the end of the quarter, and despite the offensive problems for Toronto in the first quarter, they're on a 6-0 run and now trail it by 3. Detroit has yet to score in this period with 2 minutes gone. John Barry defended by Childs. Corliss Williams from Barry, and Williamson gets the reverse.
Because of the shot blocking, you'll see a lot of players coming in on one side of the floor, duck under the rim, allow that shot blocker to be blocked off by the front of the rim.
In the corner, Jerome Williams.
Those are bonus points for Toronto when he can make a spot-up jumper. And I think Olajuwon is showing his greatness. You can't underestimate greatness. Top 50 player, even though he's had a subpar regular season.
Barry goes to the 3 and misses. Jerome Williams gets the rebound for the Raptors. 18-15 Pistons.
Toronto, they've got to understand the guys out on the floor. They're going to get the double team if they can get the ball into Kareem, into Hakeem. Beating the post is always sounds easy, but difficult to do when a man is fronted. You got to have alignments to get him the ball.
Jones pulls up for the 3. Wallace just got his 11th rebound. Rebraca with that board on the offensive glass, and we'll have a new shot clock for the Pistons. Now down to 16.
Ben Wallace just yelled at Jones from space. Hold the ball. Hold the ball. He gave him the ball so he could get down inside.
Wallace tried the up and under, wouldn't go, wanted to foul, didn't get it. 3-point Pistons lead. 8:40 to go, first half from the Palace in Auburn Hills.
Just by posting up Olajuwon, you know in the game plan that they're fronting. All you have to do is empty out the opposite side, and you can throw that lob pass all night long. Now, this is just a nice move by Williamson. He takes advantage of the front.
I tell you, here's we're going to see Detroit's game plan is to front Olajuwon. They were worried about him, concerned. They're going to throw over the top here, and he gets a foul called. Rebraca's only chance against Olajuwon is to front him. They've got to find a way, Toronto, to counter that and bring Olajuwon from the weak side to the strong side so he can get a clean catch in the post and go to work on Rebraca.
Antonio Davis with 12 on the shot clock for the Raptors. Childs tries to go inside, wanted Jerome Williams. That's 6 turnovers now for Toronto, 3 for Detroit.
See, the majority of them are in feeding the post. You never pass the ball to a post guy until he calls for the ball. That time, Jerome Williams was still trying to get a position to set up against his defender.
Inside of Rebraca, and the foul this time is on Hakeem Olajuwon.
And I like that they went to Rebraca against Olajuwon. You go back at somebody who's trying to post you up. Rebraca did a nice job stealing in the lane off a double high pick and roll situation.
Damon Jones gets the pick from Rebraca. Now it's down inside, and Hakeem punched the ball away, and Chris Childs to Alvin Williams.
I like what they were trying to do that time. They're trying to post up Rebraca in the lane right in front of the basket.
Hakeem Olajuwon from outside got the front edge of the iron. Corliss Williamson with the ball. 18-15. In case you're thinking this is the beginning of the game, we have only 7:52 to go in the first half. Damon Jones with the drive and the lay-in.
Anytime that Detroit keeps their dribble on a screen and roll or on a clear out, they get right in for a good layup or come up on the underneath on the opposite side.
Pistons by 5. Chris Childs. He misses the 3. Toronto cannot hit it from outside. Antonio Davis with the board. And the dish, and Jerome Williams is fouled.
Williamson more pressure because he had to do it night in and night out. Bobby Jackson could do it defensively, come in with, 10, 11 points, but the pressure wasn't on him to get it done from an offensive standpoint with Sacramento.
Here's the sixth man you're talking about, Corliss Williamson, and one.
Thank you, Corliss, for making our point for us.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, no, this guy's a bull. And you have to give him a lot of credit. People have a tendency to forget that he averaged double figures when he was at Sacramento before he was traded to Toronto a year ago. And then from Toronto here to Detroit. This is a perfect match for him with Curry playing in front of him when they go defense to offense. He comes in. He knows what his job is. He knows that they're going to him. He's going to get a lot of catches. Now it's up to him night in and night out to play to his potential.
Number 4, Michael Stewart into the game for the Raptors with that rebound.
Michael Stewart, a high-energy guy.
And the foul's going to be on Chucky Atkins.
Toronto, every time that the screen has been there on the wing, continues to go to the middle. That's one of the very few times that the guy goes baseline. If you go baseline, you're open. Mainly because the defense from Detroit is trying to keep you out of the middle. The baseline drive is there. Something good can happen time and again. Oh, here's a couple of characters. Bob Lanier, Bruce Hornsby. Bruce Hornsby played the national anthem for us this evening. Bob Lanier, one of the truly great players ever to play in the NBA. Ton of potential.
Some of the great players being Lanier, Vinnie Johnson, the microwave. Alvin Williams gets them both, and it's 29-22 with 4:16 to go in the first half.
I was about ready to ask you, Hubie, who did Bruce Hornsby play for? I'm glad you explained that to me.
Barry loses it. Peterson on the run. The dish on the wing to Alvin Williams.
That is the first fast break layup for Toronto in this game.
Toronto struggling in this first half, yet down only 5 points. Cliff Robinson backing in on Clark. Another near turnover. Chucky Atkins has 6 on the shot clock. Atkins with the runner, rebound Williams.
He's struggling. He's struggling in this game. He just cannot get going.
Barry tipped it, but Curry came away with it. Mo Peterson, who's only 1 for 8 in this game.
Well, he and Chucky Atkins are canceling one another out.
Antonio Davis inside, Cliff Robinson with the foul.
Be able to go down inside Antonio Davis, and he'll have a mismatch.
Davis gets 1 out of 2, and now it's a 4-point Pistons lead. And with 3:20 to go in the first half in this low-scoring affair, 29-25 Pistons.
Stackhouse just got away with an elbow right to Mo Peterson's face.
John Barry with 10 on the clock, defended by Del Curry. Clock to 8. Barry with a long 3 attempt front iron. 4-3, Alvin Williams. It's a 1-point game.
Jeff, you know and I know that Alvin Williams at playoff time a year ago in your series and in the Philadelphia series stepped up and played great offensive basketball. Same stat. He was second in this league in getting to the foul line behind Shaq.
Yeah.
Shaq was getting 12 and a half foul shot attempts. This young man was averaging 11. People say, well, how come this year he's only getting 7 a game? Well, his shot attempts have been reduced with the new coaching staff, new style of play, and by him accepting this, from 24 shots a game to 17, it's made this a better basketball team, and it's made him a better all-around player.
Stackhouse gives the Pistons a 3-point lead. 3:24 to go in the half. The foul, by the way, was on Mo Peterson, his second. The turnover, here comes Stackhouse. All the way to the hoop, and he's fouled hard by Keon Clark.
Again, if you just watch that, the big man defense of Detroit is so outstanding. Cliff Robinson pressuring the ball against Keon Clark, gets the deflection, and ignites his fast break, where Stackhouse now, who struggled from the field, is getting to the line. There's the deflection. Here he goes. Stackhouse is very, very good in the open court. puts pressure on the basket, gets the foul, and is now going to get some free points at the free throw line.
And that's the third foul on Keon Clark. Hakeem Olajuwon in the game for Toronto.
2 points. We know that Stackhouse is a lot like Iverson. He'll attack the rim and take the physical punishment. At the other end of the floor, Toronto relying too much on big people to make the entry pass into the post. To back up your statement, Jeff, the Detroit defenders are causing all of these deflections that are going into steal and are igniting the fast break.
2 minutes to go in the first half. Pistons lead have been cut to 1. It's now back to 5. Want to go to Olajuwon. Instead, Antonio Davis at the free throw line. Now Hakeem with the ball with 4 on the shot clock. The dream over Cliff Robinson.
Well, that's his patented move. Now, they wore that out. It wasn't very pretty. It was ugly. The idea was good. High, low, you know, and because he's fronted. But you got to watch him once he catches that ball in that spot. That's his favorite move.
They front Corliss Williams. The lob gets into him, and he hits the layup.
If you're going to front in the low post like Jerome Williams did, Antonio Davis has got to get a lot more pressure on the ball to make the pass into the post more difficult.
Williams pulls up and misses. Olajuwon with his 8th point off the bench. It's 35-32.
Well, everyone wanted to know, what was the big fella going to do here tonight? Right? They said he missed 21 games during the year. He's playing less than a half a game in minutes. But tonight, heavy contribution in his first half.
Averages 7, has 8 now. Williamson pounds inside, gets the short one from the dotted line, 37-32.
Do you see a double team coming?
Well, I'll tell you what, if he keeps pounding it in like that, they're going to have to, and that's exactly how Detroit wants to play. Get double teams and open up their great three-point shooting.
Olajuwon misses. Robinson.
He got an advantage here.
The lob from Chucky Atkins to Jerry Stackhouse.
All eye contact. A great look by Atkins. A good high sign from Stackhouse coming out of that corner.
Detroit's lead had been cut to 1. It is now 7 with 28 seconds in the half. Peterson, who struggled offensively, misses it. Antonio Davis with the rebound, but he's fouled.
The shot blockers are starting to come now. They're getting a feel about where everything is going. Keep an eye on the eye contact here. This is just beautiful move and off the dribble.
Really beautiful, isn't it? I love it.
It was 16-9 at the end of the first quarter.
To that painted area, whether it's through the post or whether it's through isolations or whether you're coming off screen and rolls it, because that opens everything up.
Pistons by 5, 21 seconds remaining in the first half. Atkins waiting for that clock to run down to take the final shot of the half. Williams defending. Shot clock to 7. Robinson on the post. Kicks to Atkins for 3.
Chucky Atkins has been limping here for the last couple of minutes. And you can see as he's going off, he's limping down, going towards the tunnel. But I'm happy for him that he ended the half because he's been a solid scorer for Detroit all season.
That last shot will make his leg feel a hell of a lot better at halftime.
And the Pistons end the run, the half, on a 13-6 run. And 3 of the 13 coming from Chucky Atkins over Alvin Williams.
Task at hand, and despite Keon Clark, no points, 4 turnovers, and Morris Peterson 1 for 10 from the floor, they're right there. They just have to keep their offense better in sync in the second half.
Oh, you can see an injury right there. Chucky Atkins, he comes down on the defender's foot. He rolled the ankle that time. So it's nice to see him hit this shot. Now, in the early going for Detroit, the bench has been great, 19-8. You can see Chucky Atkins trying to loosen himself up here right before the beginning of the second half. The bench has been outstanding for Detroit, and also there are plus 21 points in the paint and fast break.
33% shooting in the first half. 2 3-pointers for Detroit. Same for Toronto. You should take a look at the numbers. Detroit leading in the rebounding department. And by the way, Ben Wallace started out on fire offensively with 6 points. He ended the half with 12 rebounds. For Toronto, Antonio Davis ended the half with 11 points and 11 rebounds. We have an offensive foul, and it's going to be on Keon Clark.
Yeah, the defender, once again, fronting. That's why you always teach, you don't get excited, you just move up the lane. Now, just watch how they front. See, now the problem is I can't throw you the ball because there's another player, an offensive player on the other side of the lane low. They've got to pick that player, what we call moving the guy up to the foul line area or emptying out. So now when you front me, I can throw the lob pass to the basket or to the corner of the backboard, and you can make the catch. But do not push the guy who's fronting you. All you have to do is pin the man.
For Keon Clark also, excuse me, Jeff, 4 personal fouls already. He goes out and in comes Hakeem.
Well, what I like about Clifford Robinson, and you saw him fronting the post, is he is a defender that's so versatile. He can guard 3s, 4s, and 5s. He has effectively taken Keon Clark out of the game.
He hasn't scored as Keon Clark. 42-34 Pistons. Atkins from the top of the key. Not this time. Wallace almost got the offensive board and slammed it back in, but not this time. Bo Peterson, 1 for 10 in the first half. Antonio Davis on the drive, and Cliff Robinson with the foul.
Now that's there for them. Anytime that Antonio Davis catches the ball above the foul line or on the wing, he can take Wallace off the dribble.
Peterson with the cut. Stackhouse was right on it. Stackhouse tipped that away, but only 4 on the shot clock. A long 3-point attempt. Rebound, Cliff Robinson. Stackhouse is fouled and count the basket.
Again, in transition, they get Stackhouse up the floor, they throw it ahead, and he can attack before the defense gets set. He gets an and 1, and he gets back to that free throw line. This is already going to be a 7th free throw attempt.
Yeah, he's
right
6
now,
and 6.
Lenny Wilkins is all upset. He doesn't like the call. He feels that his guy had position. Now, depending upon which team you're rooting for right here, you could have called that an offensive foul. Lenny Wilkins is looking and saying, hey, if I were at home tonight, that would have been an offensive foul. Jerry Stackhouse gets away with that left shoulder into my defender's number.
I'll tell you the other thing about Stackhouse right now, I'm really impressed with how hard he's defending Mo Pete. I think he's one of the main reasons why he's 1 for 11 from the floor.
Detroit ties their biggest lead of 11. 10:52 to go in the 3rd quarter from the Palace. Mo Peterson trying to get around Stackhouse on a curl.
We started this game tonight by showing the problems that Toronto would have from an offensive standpoint. They've got, you can see right here, this has been a war at both ends of the floor with Stackhouse and Peterson. Peterson is 1 for 11. That's why we showed you during the streak, he was averaging 19 along with Antonio Davis's 19. He's now 1 for 13. He is really struggling in this game. But everything, he's fading on the shot.
Robinson hit Ben Wallace low. He dropped the ball and came right back with a jam. And Detroit up by 13 as they come out here in the 3rd quarter on fire. Timeout, Toronto. Alvin Williams pulls up. He gets the short iron. Wallace with another rebound. Cliff Robinson. Long rebound to Chris Childs, who just checked in. Loaded Jerome Williams. Well, there was a collision down there as Curry was trying to defend Williams.
But you're not going to double team Jerome Williams in the post. And then when you saw that once he made a nice move and was going for the layup, Curry fouls him hard. By a hard foul, we mean go for the block in the hand or get him up to the...
This with 13 and 11.
He's the only one that outside of Olajuwon, but he's the only one on that first unit that is having a solid game. Now, we know Alvin Williams, is scoring that 8 points, but he's got to start looking for a shot because Mo Peterson is struggling.
Quickly into Hakeem Olajuwon. Dribble the ball off his foot. Detroit ball leading 47-38, 8:45 to go in the 3rd quarter. And right on the right of your picture, you see Stan Albeck just a moment ago, the Lenny Wilkins assistant who had a stroke earlier, and he's back on the bench. There's Stan Albeck, one of the great guys in the NBA.
No, we're very happy to see Stan, and he's up and around. He's having trouble naturally with the right hand and also the right arm. but it's nice to see that he's moving without a cane. 7 weeks of rehabilitation in Toronto, and then back in San Antonio. He's working at it. The speech is starting to come. It's nice to see him back. 71 years old, and a great assistant coach and an outstanding head coach in the NBA.
Antonio Davis with a spin move. Olajuwon, rebound back to Davis. Jerome Williams, who just got that rebound a moment ago. That's an offensive foul on Williams.
Well, that was not a flop. When you give you that replay, you're going to see his shoulder catch the defender right in the jaw. Now, just keep an eye on this. Now, just watch as he swings back. You're going to see it. There it is right there. He put it right down. And he said, well, that was a little bit of a flop. Well, when a 6'9" guy lays that elbow right on your jaw, yeah, it is going to cause some kind of a sensation.
10 on the shot clock for Stackhouse. Rises in the lane and draws the front. Wallace with the rebound. Cliff Robinson kicks it to Curry. Wallace has 15 rebounds. They double Stackhouse.
Oh, great.
Look at the one-touch pass from Curry to Ben Wallace.
As soon as Curry's man left him to go for the double team, he sprinted for the middle of the lane. That pass came to him, and he knew that Ben Wallace would be open.
51-38 Pistons. Toronto still having trouble scoring. The rebound to Olajuwon, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Team was coming. He tried to turn away from it and shoot it. Now he's just giving the ball up. And two, you cannot let Ben Wallace in a playoff game dunk the ball. He's got to go to the free throw line. You've got to put him there.
That was Curry's 4th foul, by the way.
All right, now they catch Childs, not allowing Stackhouse to post up on the left side of the lane. He's going to fight him for position. Now the referees are starting to get, and they're going to say, hey, we're not going to let you smack people around, as the offensive man is trying to establish a post area.
That was 3 fouls now on Childs as the personals are building. Stackhouse on the baseline. Finds Robinson, wanted the 3. Davis.
Oh, pretty.
Closed out quickly. Olajuwon with a rebound. Alvin Williams, as Olajuwon's okay, gets up late.
That was a pretty pass. A bad catch. That should have been a dunk.
Davis working on Ben Wallace, who flattened that ball, and it will be a jump ball. Ben Wallace, the defensive player of the year. They announced it prior to the game tonight. It will be a jump ball. Ben Wallace, the defensive player of the year. They announced it prior to the game tonight.
It's just been interesting. Watch all the white shirts coming right down inside here. Now, Antonio Davis put that right into the crutch there, the area of the rim and the backboard. That necessitates a jump ball.
Ben Wallace, 3 blocks here tonight. He led the NBA with 3.48 a game. Wallace, finger roll. Ben Wallace has 12. He is not an offensive machine. He averages 7.5 a game, but he's doing it end to end tonight. And this is Detroit's biggest lead.
And little George Gervin there, finger roll, huh?
You're right there.
Jerome Williams left alone by Williamson, and he hits the jumper. Detroit by 12.
In the stand-up, we brought up the point that Vince Carter played 2 of the 4 games in this series this year, Detroit winning 3-1. But Toronto only averaged 81 points, and you're wondering, can they get the points necessary to win this series? And tonight is definitely Ben Wallace's night.
Ben has 14 points, 8 in the quarter. He's 6 of 9. From the field, 55-41. Pistons match their biggest lead. Olajuwon shoots it over the rim. Wallace with his 16th rebound.
They got to keep running Stackhouse in the post. They're generating a lot of offense that way.
Childs defending Stackhouse. Gets the pick.
Nice.
The pass. Atkins misses. Jerome Williams at 3-on-1. Alvin Williams gave it up, and Davis missed the lay-in.
That kind of night.
Stackhouse beats Olajuwon. He goes down hard. Wallace with a follow. No foul called
Well, no call there. They're saying that the defender was inside of the arc. No way that they would call a charge, right? But he got nailed.
That's got to be a block, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has to be a defensive foul. I mean, you cannot undercut a high flyer. Keep an eye right there, see? Now, right there, that has to be a foul. That was a non-call that resulted, fortunately, in a basket. But what about the condition of Stackhouse? Now, as we roll it, stop it right there. You can see the restraining line is here. Now, as Stackhouse goes to elevate, Childs just turns a little bit, but this definitely should have been a charge. All right, no doubt about it. He's there in plenty of time, and then what happened is there was an absolute no call. The ball goes to Wallace, and Wallace makes a score. Now they're very fortunate they come up with it, but more important, Stackhouse is fortunate that he did not really get hurt there.
And having coached Chris Childs in New York, he has ultimate courage to step in there and sacrifice his body for the good of the team. He's one of the best defenders at his position in the NBA.
With under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, Ben Wallace has outscored Toronto in this third, 10-7. Detroit has outscored Toronto 15-7. Antonio Davis defended by Wallace. Double team comes, but Davis got in deep. It won't fall. That kind of night. And the steal by Jerome Williams. The lob to Jerome from Alvin.
One of the very few easy baskets in this game for Toronto. It's been a struggle for them. They have not been able to create the steal, get the block, and get out in the open floor. Detroit has done a beautiful job in keeping the game half court at the offensive end.
Another excellent defensive play by Jerome Williams. And the block from Stackhouse.
Oh. Taking a page out of Ben Wallace's book.
Listen to this crowd.
These people, the people are enjoying it. They've been just starved for this type of a team that plays and works so hard for the full 48 minutes.
Absolutely. They got him out of that teal uniform and back into their bad boy colors, and they're playing like the bad boys.
Wallace punched it away. Stackhouse with the ball. Cliff Robinson for three. A 17-point Pistons lead with 2:39 to go in the third.
Now that's part of Cliff Robinson's game. He shoots it at 38%. He makes 4 a night. You know, we told you earlier, they are a prime-time team. They're 6th in the league in makes and also attempts.
5 on the shot clock. Williams elevates. Rebound, Antonio Davis. It'll belong to Toronto. New shot clock with 2:17 to go in the third. We said before the game, ask the question, how will Toronto score tonight? They've only been scoring about 80 points in the regular season series against Detroit. We still don't know how they can score.
That's going to be an answer to be decided as the series goes along, but it'll be a quick one if they can't put more points up on the board.
Right.
Olajuwon fouled, I think, before the Ben Wallace block.
Of rebounding, which has been good, has not been productive in points. They're not scoring with that second shot attempt.
And Jermaine Jackson, number 8, in for Toronto for the first time tonight.
2 minutes.
It's a lob. That's what they were looking for.
8 seconds on the shot clock. Toronto extends the defense. Stackhouse inside, and Wallace draws a foul. The Pistons are smelling it, even though it's just late in the third quarter.
I am just so impressed with how unselfishly Stackhouse is playing. He took it on the drive. He goes up in the air. In past years, that's a definite shot. Instead, he finds Wallace underneath the basket. When your best player is willing to play defense and your best player is willing to give the ball up, it translates to an entire team effort. I'm really, really impressed with his maturity, Coach.
Well, when you look at their starting lineup, they have 3 guys who are not drafted. You have Wallace, you have Atkins, and you have Curry. Robinson was a second-round pick. And then the only #1 high draft pick is Stackhouse. We know Stackhouse came into this league with a lot of thunder, a lot of points, a lot of volume points. low shooting percentage. Get to the foul, 24 shots a game. But it's just interesting that you can buy into stuff when all of a sudden the player sees the winning. He sees the winning, and then he sees the peer camaraderie coming as all 12 guys liking your game.
Sorry, Bob. You just saw in that graphic how the Pistons were built. And I'll tell you one thing, Joe Dumars should also be given a lot of credit for how well constructed this team is. It's a team that makes sense. It's a team in the image of Detroit itself. It's a blue-collar work team that also has enough shooting and scoring to make it a formidable playoff team.
That was the fourth foul on Jerome Williams as Corliss Williamson goes to the free throw line. This has been Ben Wallace's night. 17 points, 17 rebounds, 3 blocks, 3 steals, and just prior to the game, he was named Defensive Player of the Year. As you look at Joe Dumars, the great guard for Detroit and now President of Basketball Operations.
Well, Joe has just done a magnificent job to underline what Jeff said. By bringing Robinson here and then also getting Rabraka and then John Barry, and then for Damon Jones to step up his game with that second unit, all of a sudden you have a nice 9-man rotation, and they all know their roles.
Stackhouse! The reverse jam! It's a 20-point lead, and Stackhouse has 17, as does Wallace. Toronto ball with 60 on the clock.
I do believe that Stackhouse said that the first unit had to step up in the second half, right? He did. And he was right on the money.
Detroit ball. Toronto's 15th turnover.
You're not going to find any better playoff defense than this defense you're seeing tonight. And it also shows you cannot replace a superstar in the playoffs. You need superstars to create quality shots.
Vince Carter did not make the playoff roster, had arthroscopic surgery on March 26th. And that is 3 personals on Stackhouse.
All offensive charges, all offensive fouls. And that was an excellent call. We had a perfect shot at that.
39.6 seconds in the third period.
See, when Stackhouse makes up his mind, the wide shoulders, he's constantly putting that shoulder in your chest. Now, if the referees call a soft game, he's gone on a spin move.
Bo Peterson back in the game. He's been struggling all night long. Shot clock at 6. Peterson elevates for the jumper and misses everything.
It isn't like the shots have not been there. Mo Peterson is working hard to get the shots, but I also want to give a lot of credit to Stackhouse and also Barry, because they're forcing him to extend, and he's not getting what you would call a great look, an open look. He's being challenged.
Loose ball foul on Detroit. Timeout, Toronto. That's the end of the third quarter. Detroit outscored the Raptors 23-11 in the third period. And Ben Wallace having a celebration after being named Defensive Player of the Year. He's turned offensive and defensive in this game.
A great move. Stackhouse has been out, and he's been out quick. They've been late covering him in the open floor from the get-go. Bruce Hornsby did a video.
Eastern time, and Clark to the free throw line.
Well, they just took Ben Wallace out. They call him the body. He has been body beautiful tonight. He is just dominated the game through sheer hard work and effort. And they may want to start to chant MVP right here for Ben Wallace.
Well, there's no doubt about the importance of his performance night in and night out. It's just great to watch. If you have not seen Detroit this year, they're a fun team to watch because they have the total game. They have the fast break game, they have the three-point shooting game, they have the post-up game, they have excellent spacing, and then they work 48 minutes on defense.
Beat the Raptors 85-63. Detroit holds Toronto to 29.9% field goals for the game. Toronto took 77 shots and hit only 23. They're raining down the streamers. The crowd really enjoyed and had a chance to have a laugher here in the first game of this first-round series in the Eastern Conference. The Pistons with 50 wins on the regular season, an 18-game improvement from last year. Central Division champions, and now let's go to Cheryl Miller.
Ben, 20 rebounds, 19 points. Not a bad way to start or play your first playoff game.
Yeah, you know, we wanted to come out with a lot of energy and try to make them match our energy. You know, we came out early with a lot of energy, and we saw they was a little flat, so we jumped on them.
Yeah, first quarter, both teams really did struggle offensively, but really talk about the second half. Defensively, you forced them to take a lot of quick and tough shots.
Yeah, you know, we was fronting them in the post, and we knew that was a big part of their game, trying to go to Antonio Davis, and we forced them to work the shot clock. When the shot clock got down, we made them take some long, tough shots with a hand in their face.
You win by a very large margin. Any concern that you guys might take game 2 lightly, or this Toronto team?
No, we know they're going to come out next game. They're going to come out with a lot of energy, you know, trying to make up for this game. But we just got to stay focused and continue to play the type basketball we've been playing.
Hey, how great did it feel to lift up the trophy over your head in front of your crowd?
Oh, it felt really good.
All right, thanks a lot, Ben. Congratulations. Let's send it back over to you, Bob.
As you see, Ben Wallace, Defensive Player of the Year from Bob Lanier, with David Stern in attendance tonight, and he answered with a great game of 19 points and 20 rebounds. We'll be back to wrap it up from the Palace in Auburn Hills right after this.